here for you on the main stage. I got two of the greatest ever in the history of NASCAR racing. On my left, perhaps the greatest crew chief in the history of racing, Waddell Wilson. And on my right, Richard Petty. Oh, well, David Pearson. I'm not going to tell you what he just said to me. Folks, welcome to historic Columbia Speedway. David, you've been here since Thursday. What do you think?
Well, it's been hot and dusty. The track is not like I was used to.
Yeah, David told me when he got here, he said, man, this looks good, but it should be dirt.
That's true. I figured if you hadn't ever put asphalt on the daggone stuff, you'd probably still be racing here.
A lot of people agree with you, you know. I think that's true. What else? Do you have any experiences here at Columbia?
Well, you know, every time I was down here, I was with David. You know, we were coming out of Holman Moody, and I can remember a lot of nights being down here with him. And one time I remember we blew a right front tire and he went out of the place. Come back in, he said, that's the darkest whole life I got in my life.
You know, hey guys, I hear a lot of people talking about going out of the racetrack at Columbia Speedway. What's up with that, David? How come you guys couldn't hold at the track?
Well, the old track had sand, and didn't wear the tires out. Worse than asphalt. But yeah, I went out. In fact, I went out right here and going in number one, turned a 59 Chevrolet over down in there, and I had to dig myself back out. So it landed right on the top. And it mashed it down good a little bit. Everybody claimed that I was waving at some gal in the grandstand. The reason I went off.
I wonder why I didn't say something like that about you, David.
People always tell lies on me.
Poor David Pearson, man. He's just been abused all of his life. Waddell, you probably got some stories about David Pearson that you could tell us that people haven't heard before.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's been around about 10 times. You know, he's one of the greatest I ever worked with, and I enjoyed working with him. We had a lot of good time together, won championships in 68 and 69, and a lot of races. And, back then, he'd go with us a lot of times to the racetrack. We'd go to Michigan, and we'd stop picking him up, and he'd ride with us. And, we had a lot of good times, and, we had a lot of hard work, though. And that normally, there's about 3 or 4 of us on a race team at that time. Not like it is today. And we had to work really hard to accomplish what we did. And I remember being here one night, and David come in and pitted the car, and somebody spilled gas in the pits where we stopped. And the back of the car got on fire. And all the grass and all was burning, and where that gas been spilled. Bill Holman was changing the rear tire. I was changing the front tire. And I'm looking out of the corner of my eye, I'm wondering if he's going to leave. If he leaves, I'm going with him. And Jake Elder was a jackman on the car. And Bill was tough enough, man. He's probably one of the toughest men I ever run up on in my life. But he went ahead and changed that tire right in the fire. And Pearson told me later, he said, if you got that jack down, he said, I was coming out of that race car.
But, Waddell, you've had the opportunity to work with a lot of great drivers, including names like Fireball Roberts and Kelly Yarborough, and guys like that, Buddy Baker, holy mackerel. David Pearson here has a phenomenal winning percentage when you look at the wins versus the number of races, the best ever. What do you think? What do you attribute that to? You got to work with the guy. What was it?
Well, it was an honor to work with David because you knew he was going to give you 100%. He was great with the chassis. He was great with taking care of his equipment. That was one thing. He didn't go out there and get wrecked. I never seen him get hurt in a race car, which is amazing. I've seen him work with a lot of people that, drivers that got themselves hurt. But David had a feel for it and, what he needed to do to his race car. And one thing about it now, he'd work you to death because he was always wanting a half-a-second advantage on everybody else. And he would go out and he'd run a half a corner at a time, so we never knew how fast the car really goes at come time to qualify.
What do you got to say about that, man?
Well, I guess he was telling the truth. When you're out there practicing, you don't want everybody to know how fast you run. Because if you run fast, they're going to keep working on theirs until they get just as fast. So always try to be a little ahead of it.
There's one of the secrets revealed right here. Now, David, Tell us about racing at Columbia Speedway. I know you said it was great when it was dirt, and one of the things that we hear a lot of people talk about is that everybody wanted to do well here. They want to be known for doing well here, and I've heard people say that if you wanted to be the best, you had to come to Columbia Speedway and beat the best. What was it about this track back then that made it special?
I don't know. I really don't. Of course, I tried to run and win everywhere I went. You know, I know Earnhardt was winning a bunch of races down here when I came down here, and I come down and won the race, and so I said, well, I'll keep it coming, you know. And they had Banjo Matthews come down here and try to beat me. And in fact, he's the one that really got me to start running on asphalt. And I believe that night that he come down, I could probably let him, you know. And he come up and talked to me, and he said, good as your car is running, you ought to come to asphalt and run on asphalt. I said, Banjo, I've never been on asphalt before in my life. You know, I don't know nothing about asphalt. And he said, well, as good as your car is running and good as Hannah's, you'll run good there. And he told me to go by and see Cotton Owens and get some tires from him. But Cotton had some old tires that he had run before, you know, and he would give me the right tire to come to asphalt. So he did, and I did. I went up there and talked to Cotton, and I got some tires. And so I said, I will try it, and I went to asphalt, and I won the race. And so I said, well, this is another place I can come run. You know? So I'd run down here on Thursday, and I think at Fountain Inn or something like that on Friday, and Pringle on Saturday, and sometimes I didn't tire it up something, I'd go to Asheville on Sunday.
That's cool. Now, this fellow sitting over here, 109 poles and 120 wins, is that right? Something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that?
There ain't no telling about it.
Yeah, now, that's a heck of a record, too. What do you got to say about him? Why was he so good, man?
He just took his time and knew what he was doing, I guess.
He said he didn't cheat.
That's the only thing I could find wrong with him. He wouldn't cheat. But I used to get on to him all the time about, you know, taking so long to build an engine. And he torqued every daggone thing he put on the engine, you know. Of course, he said he was supposed to, but I know some of them would teach the air wrench, wham, you know, and build everything. Of course, his was good. I don't remember ever blowing an engine, really. And but it was good enough we won the championship 2 years in a row and everything. So we had a good time together.
I'm seeing a lot of similarities. You know, he's talking about you. You never got hurt. You didn't tear up the equipment that much. You know, you're talking about him saying his motor stayed together. He paid a lot of attention to it. Then I hear you talking about sandbagging a little bit, not showing all your cars.
That was just during practice.
It's still sandbagging, David.
No, I just didn't let everybody know what you do.
Okay. Tomato, right? Whatever you want to call it. Well, fellas.
But I've been lucky. I've been lucky too. You know, of course. I mean, like on the road here. I've never rode down this.
That's awesome. That's an awesome accomplishment right there. Yeah. Folks, two of the greatest ever right here on the main stage in the Big Tent at historic Columbia Speedway. Waddell Wilson and David Pearson. Let's give them a big hand. Got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I can't stay here for just a minute because I got a car going through the auction over and it starts at 11 o'clock.
All right. When there's money involved, that's where Pearson's going, all right? Thanks, David. Waddell, thanks a lot, buddy.